The dark side has revealed truths to me that no Jedi could comprehend, let alone accept. Pain is not just a sensation, it is a force, a teacher, in an unrelenting crucible. I have been forged through agony, both physical and spiritual, and emerged as something far beyond the weak, broken man that I once was. The fire of Mustafar burned away Anakin Skywalker, and left only Darth Vader, a vessel of power, a being reborn through suffering. The dark side flows through me like a river of molten hatred, fueling my every step, my every stroke of the blade. I am not a disciple of darkness, though. I am its master. Yet, even as I bask in the supremacy of my rebirth, I know well the shadow that looms large. Yoda, that ancient wisp of a being, carries with him the weight of centuries, a legacy steeped in light. In the Jedi, his name is whispered in reverence, his victories recounted like holy scripture among the Jedi, but I have seen him for what he truly is, just a relic of a dying order, clinging desperately to a fading power. Still, to dismiss him would be folly. His command of the Force is unparalleled, his cunning legendary. He has defeated many who has walked the dark path, and he has stood unbroken against enemies that would have crushed lesser beings. I cannot afford the arrogance I once wielded as Anakin. The physical gifts of my former self, the swiftness, the agility that once defined me, are no longer my gifts to possess. But I am no longer a slave to illusions of invincibility. The lesson of Mustafar was carved into me in fire and ash, and I will not underestimate Yoda. But I am not weak. My body may be scarred and encased in this cursed armor, but my spirit is unyielding. Pain has taught me resilience, hatred has given me clarity, and the dark side has sharpened my will into a blade that cuts deeper than any lightsaber. I am a wounded animal, a predator with nothing left to lose and everything to prove. I will not fight Yoda as I once fought Kenobi with the reckless fury of a betrayed student. I will fight him as Darth Vader, a master of cunning and a master of patience, a being of pure darkness honed by suffering and failure. He will see not the boy he once dismissed, but the god of the dark side itself, its instrument-made machine. Yoda may be dangerous, but so am I. I am the shadow that devours the light. I will not fall as easy as his past foes have. Yet, I do not deceive myself. Yoda is not an opponent to be taken lightly, and the outcome of such a battle is shrouded even to me. The dark side whispers of victory and vengeance, but I know its nature, deceitful, testing, ever hungry for a sacrifice. I cannot know if I will triumph, or if Yoda will strike me down as he has many before. But this uncertainty does not weaken my resolve, it sharpens it. I will approach this fight with the full might of my knowledge, power, and my hatred. The Jedi have always thought themselves righteous, but they have never faced a Sith who truly understands the depths of the dark side, the depths of its suffering as I do. I will give Yoda the battle of his long life, and if he falls, the last of the Jedi Order will crumble with him. For too long that creature looked down on me, judging, doubting, withholding. He thought me reckless, impatient, unworthy. Perhaps once the little creature was right, but that was Anakin Skywalker. That was before the dark side had made me whole. Now, I am the vengeance of the Sith, the embodiment of their ancient power, and I will relish the moment when I look into Yoda's ancient eyes and see not wisdom, but fear. The galaxy will not remember him as the wise master who guided the Jedi to glory. It will remember him as the fool who dared to stand against Darth Vader, and the fool that paid the ultimate price. The dark side will reign supreme, and his legacy will be ash beneath my heel. Lord Vader did not fear Yoda. Fear was a weakness that he had cast aside long ago, a relic of his former self, Anakin. What once consumed him, poisoned his thoughts, and led him down the path of ruin has now become his greatest asset. Now, fear was not something that he felt, it was something that he wielded. A sharp-edged tool of the dark side, a weapon of exquisite beauty among his arsenal. The galaxy trembled before him, and no living creature could elicit from him even a flicker of dread. Yoda was no exception. His power, his legacy, his centuries of mastery, they were challenges, yes, but not obstacles to be feared. Darth Vader feared nothing. His resolve was unshakable, his will iron forged in fire, the fire that burned away what he once was. Yoda, the so-called Grandmaster of the Jedi, may have been a symbol of light and wisdom to others, but to Vader, he was an obsolete, aging fool clinging to the remains of a long-dead religion. The warnings of his master Palpatine were noted, but disregarded. If there were any living Jedi who deserved his attention, it was Yoda. Not out of hatred. Vader reserved his burning hatred for Kenobi, the man who betrayed him, left him on Mustafar broken. But Vader thought about Yoda out of necessity. He represented the last, strongest vestige of the Jedi. To face him was not merely an act of destruction, it was the culmination of a destiny that Vader had now embraced. The fight was personal, not because of vengeance, but because of pure resolve. Vader's hatred for Yoda was not the wildfire that it was for Obi-Wan. It was a cold, methodical disdain for a creature who had once stood in judgment over him, who had denied him the future he believed was his birthright. Yoda, with his patronizing words and calm demeanor, had always underestimated him, dismissed him as reckless and unworthy. But that was before. That was Anakin. Now Vader was no longer a student seeking approval or recognition. He was a master of the dark side, a being of focused, refined hatred, a blade honed to perfection. If the confrontation came, Vader would not flinch nor falter. He would approach it with the calculated precision of a predator closing in on its prey. His lack of fear was not arrogance this time, it was certainty. He had learned what fear could do, how it could paralyze, destroy. He had turned fear into a tool of dominance, mastered it. Fear was what made his enemies falter before him. It is what made the strongest Jedi question themselves when they stood in his shadow. Yoda may not cower, but Vader saw this as an opportunity to test the limits of the dark side. He no longer believed in fate as the Jedi did, but he did believe in his own will to dominate. If he were meant to prove that he was stronger than Yoda, he would fight not just for victory, but for the certainty that he had become something greater, and that what he had become was justified. The dark side remade Vader into something more than a Jedi, more than a man. His body scarred and broken, a vessel now of unrelenting power. His mind, once plagued by doubt and indecision, was now an instrument of calculation, pure purpose. Yoda could not understand what he had become, what the dark side had made him into. Every step of the journey, every agony he endured had been a lesson in power, and Vader had absorbed them all. Yoda, for his centuries of wisdom, was still bound by the limitations of the light and the Jedi. Vader had transcended such restraints. The Force was not his guide, it was his weapon, his servant. It mattered little to Vader whether he emerged victorious or not. The fight with Yoda to Vader, in his mind, would be more than who would live and who would die. It was about proving to himself and to the galaxy that the dark side was the ultimate truth. He no longer desired what Anakin had once sought: approval, love, belonging. Those had turned to ash in his hands. What he sought now was power, certainty, and the destruction of everything the Jedi stood for. Facing Yoda would be the final act in a saga of destruction, the ultimate test of how far he had come and how far he had yet to go. The Force would decide the outcome. Darth Vader would not allow doubt to cloud his mind or fear weigh upon him. If he fell, it was to be as a master of the dark side, as a god of shadow and destruction. And if he triumphed, Yoda's legacy would crumble, and the Jedi would truly be no more. Either way, Vader was prepared. He feared nothing, not even the green creature who had once denied him everything. Whatever came next, it would only serve to affirm the path that he had chosen, and the power that he had now claimed. Vader would fight not with desperation, but with resolve, and the dark side would guide his hand. Vader did not fear Yoda. He did not fear a confrontation, a duel with Yoda. He had absolutely nothing left to lose. Lord Vader did not care for his life, but he felt as if achieving power now became it. But now you have but scratched the surface of the mysteries that surround Vader. His story, his power, the masteries of the dark side that he discovered are written in stars and etched into the history of the galaxy. But there is so much more here for you to discover. Within these archives lie the secrets of his rise, the truths he uncovered in the darkness. Dive deeper into the shadows, uncover the lessons he forged in agony, and learn what it means to wield the Force with absolute purpose. The power of Vader is not just in his strength, but his understanding of the Force, its raw, unrelenting truth. Explore these halls, seek out our wisdom, and you too may begin to grasp the magnitude of Darth Vader's legacy. The archives await you, as does the truth of the dark side if you dare to uncover it. The dark side awaits. Subscribe for more. And if you're a Jedi, this is all a joke. May the Force be with you.